This might be the coolest one we've seen all year. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Time for the Gibson Mod Collection update. And we're starting with my favorite one this week, the gilded fingerprint on an ES345. I love this so much. Had I seen it on launch day, I would have bought this for a review, but unfortunately I wasn't here. But look at this thing. Here's a look at a generic fingerprint. You've got some swirlies, you've got some lines. Everyone's fingerprint is just a little bit different. But someone had the idea to incorporate that within a guitar. It just looks like a bunch of teardrop shapes going on. But the fact that it's gold and black, and then you match that with gold pickup covers, black plastics, combination of both here, gold there. It's close to Ricky's psychedelic paint jobs for a lot less than $25,000 plus. So I just want to say, mod collection guy, whoever thought of this, fantastic. It's unique, not everybody's going to like it, but I think this turned out perfectly, especially on a 345 because it's got the 3-ply binding on the top. But you're going to notice, this does not have fret nibs. And that's because it's been refretted and they threw custom bucker pickups in it. And oh man, if that's not enough. You get a black back and sides, but you have a fingerprinted stinger. Yeah, that was a real winner. I probably would have had to have kept that in my collection, especially because it appears to be a gloss finish. But they also had G Teal for $29. It's kind of a nice bluish color with your golden racing stripes if that's your style, but it's one of the 50s P90 standard. So you don't have humbuckers and they swapped in some speed knobs. Appears to have left our headstock alone outside of our tuner tips. And the natural back sustains with a little bit of flame figuring here. But then the return of gilded emerald finish on an SG Custom. Oh wow, okay. I just thought it was like a really dark green. It is, but I wasn't expecting it to be so sparkly. So I'd imagine the more light you have, the more green it looks. Let's see what we've got going on the back. Looks like just complete refinish all over. Not too shabby. But there was also a 335 in the lineup this time called Berry Shimmer for about $33. It's just kind of a light reddish color. So if you like that kind of traditional look, but you want something just a bit different, I guess that's who this was for. But the angle of these photos are a little bit different than usual. And the back is completely matching. But this one, I like the name, Extreme Marine. For a small premium, you get like a sparkly pale blue top. But the cream plastics work really well on this one, especially with the black knobs. But then, this is another one that's been refretted. They must have been having some issues with the Plek machine or something. But where this one gets fun is they left the back still red. So that gives you an interesting side profile shot. But it looks like they are listening and doing some more gloss finishes. But next, a 1960 reissue in Crimson Tiger Burst for a bit of a discount. Reminds me of the Slash Vermilion Burst, just in custom shop format. Looks pretty good, without the pick guard and double black humbuckers. Pretty nice top on that one, too. Headstock has that blacked out Gibson USA truss rod cover style, and they upgraded it to Grover tuners, with a really crooked Les Paul model silkscreen. That looks a little bit faded on top of that. And our back is completely black, but whoa, that serial number looks stranger than it usually does. I think it's because it's not perfectly centered. And interesting pickup choices, Burst Bucker 61 neck and DC high gain humbucker in the bridge. Now, above our racing stripes, I personally preferred the British racing blue. This one was done up on a 59 Les Paul, and that color scheme with that fretboard, it reminds me a lot of the Scorpion series, but with just a slightly different colorway. I'm not sure if this is like the Scorpions though, in that you can still see the flame top underneath this finish if you get it in the light. It's not looking like that's going to be the case though. But this headstock has similar modifications. Looks like a satin finish up here. Hopping back to this photo, yeah, gloss top, satin, everything else. But then the back is kind of like a bluish red hue, but the neck is slightly different. But now we've got an autumn burst with a Gibson USA 50 standard, with an interesting diamond pattern underneath the tailpiece. I mean, it's new, it's unique, it's gonna make it exactly yours, but the color scheme is kind of nice, a little bit refreshing, with zebra bobbin pickups, cream plastics. But then the back is just red, but I do like the wood grain that we have with our body. Just trying to see if there was a story why they did that, but yeah, they just call it a triple diamond accent on the top center of the lower bout. I don't know about you guys, but I feel kind of cheated. I feel like there needs to be a whole lore backstory about aliens or something. But the name on the website doesn't have anything. But many a times on the actual box, if you buy it, there's going to be a different name for the finish. And maybe that has the backstory. But as of right now, it's still for sale. But my number 2 pick this week had to be this 57 reissue. It's about $500 off. Instead of being a gold top, it is a fantastically flamed, transparent blue fade finish. And usually I'm not a big fan of the dark borders, but this one definitely piques my interest. Light blue finishes like these just bring out flame tops so awesomely, so that's just gonna move great. And hey, outside of our truss rod cover, everything was left alone. And it appears to be a gloss finish. But wow, I'm alone on loving that one? Personally, I think that one's worth about $1,000 more. But a pretty solid number 3 was this 58 Carina reissue in superb purple. It's technically about $1,800 off. But you also have the trade-off that they covered over all of your Carina wood grain. So is it really different from the older ones that were $5,000 brand new with mahogany and a custom paint job that you can usually get for $6,500 or less? I'll leave that up to you, but it does look pretty awesome. Gibson's finally caught on that dark purple guitars can sell if people can see it's purple. There we go, the return of weird-looking serial numbers. They must be trying something new as far as restamping the original one. But I like how the numbers are gold because it matches your hardware. But now, what was the UK up to? Our first one was a metallic teal Explorer. I do want to give a shout out to my 2 overseas helpers, Ingo and Robin. They always help me make sure I don't miss these. But our first one, when I went to click on it, the page is bugged. But thankfully Ingo saved the photo, so here's what it looked like. It just looks like one of those other Shark ones that they've done in the past. Gold hardware, uncovered bridge humbucker. It was a 57 Classic in the neck and a 498T in the bridge. And it was a complete gloss refinish, top, back, and sides. However, take a look at your serial number. Late 2023, but now check out the case. That's like an early 2010s era version, so I thought that was kind of fascinating. But then there was also Satin Sky Blue SG, just kind of a cool baby blue finish. But the black plastics really pop on this, only being single ply. And the back was completely matching. Another Kachinadu. It's another emerald green, but now every time I look at a 345, I'm going to think of that cool thumbprint one. So yeah, this is cool, but not as cool as that. But this is interesting. The back of the body matching to the top, but the back of the neck actually looks like a dark red. I'm curious. Let's look through these other shots to see if there's anything that'll give us a better indication of that. Yeah, there we go. Sure enough, kind of like a reddish natural dark burst. So think of it like the tree trunk and then the body's the foliage. But they also had something similar called Aquamarine Metallic on a Les Paul Jr. Definitely one for someone who likes the one pickup P90 blues all over their guitar. And then they rounded it out with red sparkle gloss. It's definitely a little bit more sparkly the closer you get to it, and paired with cream plastics. But now the real question is, did they do the back? Oh, yes they did. But now the Gibson USA demo shop, someone got a ridiculous deal. That's one you just go, tip my hat to you, whoever was lucky enough to get that one. $500 off. The sold out Charlie Star Ebony Les Paul Jr. that's been selling for like $3,000 on Reverb. That's just super lucky. So that was by far the most exciting this week. And then one of the AMS exclusive Ocean Waters popped up. I happened to be there on the launch of this one, and I just sold my other really beautiful one, but I thought this one was unique in a different way, and they did put different pickups in it. So you guys tell me, should I just unbox this one as a bulk unboxing, or would you like to see another review of one of these? Definitely my favorite color of the 50s and 60s standards. Then there was also a plain top 60s white. This was part of the custom color series, but the fact that they changed it to black plastics just makes it look like one of the old early 2000s studios in the Arctic white finish. But what was cool about those is they had an unbound ebony fretboard. But this one, it's got neck and body binding. It's just kind of hard to see. But then the back is just natural. This J45 Deluxe is way too fancy for its own good with abalone purfling, rosette sound hole. You even have another layer around your pick guard. Got super fancy inlays. Some of them are crosses. The headstock on these really fancy Gibson acoustics, though, just always remind me of a bad Gibson. They're just stylized strangely. And you don't see single band binding around headstocks too often. But then it's rosewood back and sides. As far as 60 standard bourbon bursts go, I thought this top was pretty good. They had a non-gilded version of a Gibson Les Paul Custom in ebony. Kind of an old serial number. That one's from 2021, at least 3 years ago. Then a black Les Paul Standard. Just kidding. It's actually the Oxblood one. You just gotta shine a light on it to see it, but I like the back on it. It's got cool wood grain for a two-piecer. They also had an unburst with black plastics without a pick guard. And then lastly, just because you don't see this too often in the demo shop, a 63 reissue SG Special in a cream finish. Alright, Troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care.